Hey everybody, Mr. Regan here. And up to this point, you've done a lot to read about the different materials and way in which those structures create specific functions with helping to preserve our overall drop pod for the disaster victims and to help them get the materials and things they need in those tough moments. That being said, today we're going to talk about, now that you have some background knowledge of the materials that you can use, how you're going to go about testing out some different design ideas to meet our three criteria. Remember, our three criteria are minimizing the pod damage, so it can be used as a shelter, minimizing the cargo damage, so the victims have what they need, and then minimizing the cost so we can afford to help as many people as possible. Now, to do this, to test out our different iterative testing ideas, you're going to be using each of your tests to help you create the next best test. And as you go through creating your iterative tests, each one will kind of build off of the next. Each test will give you a little bit of information about how to affect each of the criteria. So how to affect the pod damage, how to affect the cargo damage, how to affect the cost. And then as you're going through each iterative test, your goal will be to reflect on what went right, what went wrong, and then how can you improve that. So in order to do all of this, we're going to be going through how to use your testing log, your supply drop testing log. And I'll be breaking down how to navigate through the different pages and how to record your data in the supply drop sim. So in the next task, you have the sim here on the left and you have your testing log on the right. When you click on that, it'll ask you to put it in your drive. Go ahead and make yourself a copy. It'll look something like this. Now, at the very bottom, you'll see that we have some tabs. This is the home page. On the home page, you'll have your optimal supply drop pod design. Don't worry about that for now. We'll explain more. We have some resource links to help you as you're working through this. You have your own notes. Feel free to fill this in as much as you want, however you feel necessary. And then over here, you have your snapshot. You're not going to be filling in anything here. This will autofill as you complete your iterative tests. So don't click in there. Don't type anything in here. Don't put anything in here at all. Now, if you notice you have some data kind of already in there, don't worry. I'm going to explain that in the snapshot as well. So when you go into your iterative test, you'll see there are three sets. Iterative testing 1 through 10, 11 through 20, and 21 through 30. Those are the tabs here at the bottom. And as you click through here, you'll notice that each of them have different tests. Test 1, 2, 3, and so on. As you go through, you're going to be recording what your strategy for that test is, what the building details and materials are, what the test results are. You're going to be analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of that test. Okay. So, for example, if we're looking at this test, your strategy here is to get started. Okay. Maybe this is the first test. Okay. And you go through and you select your shell option. So, acrylic, how much of each of the different packing materials there are. So, feathers, metal, foam, packing peanuts, and then any add-ons. So, flaps, small parachutes are large. Bottom will be trestle springs and blocks. And you'll put in here what was in that pod that you tested. Then you'll go through here and you'll record all of the details. So impact force, maybe you had an impact force of 100, maybe your mass was 2000, maybe your velocity was 300, we'll say 350 meters per second. Maybe this was not reusable, so it was completely destroyed. And then last but not least, total cost, maybe it was $4,000. And then the cargo damage was 50% of it was damaged. Okay. So you'll go in here after looking at that and you'll kind of analyze what are the strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, we could say low impact force. Weaknesses was very expensive. Okay. And then you'll go through and then you'll go into your next test. So, what is your goal based on the last strategy in test 2? So, maybe your goal is to, I don't know, lower the cost. Okay. And you'll go through and you'll make some changes to what your build looks like. And then you'll analyze how it went from there. Okay. And then from here, you'll have your tests. You'll go one by one, jumping through each of your 10 tests into your next 20 and into your next 30. Okay. Now, as you go through, you'll notice here on the snapshot that it's going to autofill your results. So you can kind of see them all together. So notice you don't have to type anything in here. You just have to go ahead and leave that be. It'll autofill with everything that you put into your tests. Okay. So take a second in your survey. Do you understand how to navigate through the different pages? So that's the different testing log pages, the home screen and such. Do you understand how to record your data, whether that is what you did for your build or what the results are? If your answer is yes, put it in green. If one or two of those are confusing, put it in yellow or red. Reach out if you have questions, and as always, good luck.